Hey everybody, and welcome back to The Shawning. As you know, this is Elvis, my special guest. He's also in the review we did for Splice, if you want to go check that out. So he is going to be joining us today, along with Chucky. Anyway, we are going to be talking about the latest installment of the Conjuring Universe, and that would be Annabelle Comes Home. I am not a huge fan of the Annabelle films to begin with. I don't like the original. The second one is really good, and then there's this one. I mean, do you have any special Annabelle films that really stick out, or is it just kind of like a...
Not really. I mean, as far as like ranking these, as far as like good, it's Creation, Comes Home, Annabelle.
Yeah, the original is not a favorite amongst us at all. Let's take a look at the good, the bad, and the ugly of Annabelle Comes Home.
Evil the Warrens have faced is contained in the artifact room.
There is a lot of evil in this room. The doll, it's a beacon for other spirits.
Nowhere is safe.
Like always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Go follow my Instagram, all that fun stuff, because I try to post daily. And yeah, if you like horror stuff, that's definitely the place you want to be. To the fun stuff, which is this very strange movie. And you'll understand why I say it's strange. But first, we're going to talk about the characters. There is only 4 characters in this entire movie. You see the Warrens at the beginning, and that's just about it. I guess it's time for Bob.
Okay, so we'll go with Bob.
Bob.
So Bob's side story in this whole movie, it takes you out of the movie.
It's bad.
Really does. Yeah, I mean, he kind of gets introduced in as kind of like comic relief. There's a little bit of like, he's an awkward teen.
Yeah, but then they just lock him outside.
Yeah. The
whole movie, he's outside. It's just really off-putting, and spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, I'm sorry, I'm going to tell you anyway. He's literally battling a hellhound that is so CGI'd. It just really takes you out of the movie, and it does not fit with the Conjuring feel. A lot of this movie doesn't really fit well in the Conjuring universe, personally. Bob did not help this movie at all. Now, if Bob was in it, like in the house with them, then that would be fine, but that was not the case.
Judy?
Okay. Unpopular opinion, I don't like Judy, okay, which is the daughter. And let me tell you why. It does not make any sense. Here we go. This is a doozy. The original Conjuring, at the end is when Judy, and like that whole scene with Judy and Annabelle and the creepy lady in the rocking chair. Okay, that happens. So I don't understand why we're going back and doing a similar scene. It's like they completely ignored that even happened in The Conjuring. Portraying it as this being her first interaction with Annabelle and all that. But that was never... It just didn't make sense. It was extremely confusing. She was just so depressing the whole time. Just sad, big sad.
Yeah.
Big sad.
And you don't even know why. You kind of get a little guess too here and there. She's sad. Maybe her parents are... Everybody thinks they're a hoax. No one believes them. Or what they're doing is real. Or she's just coming to grips that she can see dead people.
Which is... They introduced it at the very beginning of the film. I would have liked to see a little more backstory for Judy going through these different things. And I mean, she's obviously not talking to anyone about it because no one's going to believe her. So I really wish they would have focused more so on that aspect of the film, of her, you know, coming to grips with the fact that she has these, I guess you would call them powers or gifts, whatever you want to call it. No, it felt very rushed, and they could have done a lot more with Judy. And it just, I don't know, it just wasn't it for me. I mean, I know she's supposed to be like the main character.
She's basically like every Conjuring movie, how the Warrens are in there. She's basically just the mom. but
Yeah,
younger.
and way
sad.
sadder.
Yeah.
So next,
We have Mary Ellen.
Mary Ellen, which is the babysitter. I looked at her as more of the main character in this than I did Judy. I think Mary Ellen did a really good job. She was believable as a teenage babysitter.
And she's nothing more than that. You don't get anything on her backstory.
No.
She's
just the girl
that.
next door. And I think that worked well for them. I think that if they would have focused more so on Mary Ellen versus Judy, I think it would have been a lot better of a movie, because I could not get behind these characters. I mean, now the Conjuring movies are different, but the Annabelle and they tried to put way too much like comedy in it, and it watered it down really bad. Hence to Bob again. It was a lot of comic relief, and it was just off-putting, and we could have went without it. Is it Daniela?
Yeah, Daniela.
Elvis's personal favorite character in this movie, Daniela. Why don't you start with Daniela, and I'll follow you.
Well, I hated Daniela, and I think everybody does. Through the first act of the movie, you don't even know what her motives are other than this nosy teenager going into a room full of haunted stuff and touching everything.
Yes, everything. They just shoot her as if she's the
just
nosiest teenager you've ever seen in your life.
For no reason.
Like, utterly annoying.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was.
She went out of her way to be annoying.
And to touch everything. It shows you of her going through the room and touching I don't need to see all that. I don't need to see you doing all this stuff. They could have showed her go in there and the door close and then let you figure it out, but no. You just got a whole wasted scene
You got
of
a
her.
whole 5 minutes of her touching everything in the room and messing with it.
And they did not do her character any favors because they didn't give her backstory till the end of the movie. So the whole movie, I hate her. He hates her.
She's not a likable character.
I'm pretty sure the whole rest of the world hated her. Why would you wait till the end to be like, oh yeah, by the way, her dad died?
Yeah, that's what she was looking for. She was looking for this specific, amulet so she could see her dad. Oh, but you didn't know that. You just thought she was just the world's most annoying teenager.
Because that is 100% how she is portrayed. That's literally all the characters. That's it. So as you can see, the character game is not strong in this film at all. Besides Mary Ellen, who's pretty much the glue holding all of this together. And I guess if you want to consider Annabelle a character, you could. But newsflash, she's really not in the movie a lot.
If anything, it's a showcase of like what's in the room, the Warrens' room.
And personally, it didn't do good. Which leads me to the next topic of conversation, which would be the overall scares of this film. Were they good? Were they bad? Were they terrible? They were very predictable. More so than The Nun, okay?
And a handful of fake outs that led nowhere.
A lot of fake outs. It was like they would start with something and then just drop it, move something else. The Toll Man, no, that didn't do it for me. I thought that was really dumb.
Scary, yeah.
It was pale people with coins on their eyes. Like, that's not gonna freak me out. Now the Crooked Man messed me up. I will say, Conjuring 2 Crooked Man messed me up really bad. But the Tall Man, it does not get that same
Even
love.
his little introduction, her 5-minute slow walk from the basement, up the stairs, into the kitchen.
Coins dropping. There's probably like, what, 5 coins that drop?
Yeah, the coin drops, she looks at it.
They build the suspense for each coin, too. So you get a moment. Yeah.
She'll pick it up. Coin drop.
More suspenseful music. It's just... But then by the time you actually get to the scare, it don't work. There is one scare in particular that really messed me up, though. And it also, it messed you up too, didn't it?
Like, I knew it was coming and it still got me.
Yeah.
So if you've seen any of the Annabelle movies, you know the demon that is attached to this doll. He's in every single Annabelle movie. And when he finally shows up halfway through the movie, it's pretty terrifying, actually.
They just don't do any more with it. Yeah. That's the sad part.
He's the biggest scare in the movie.
Yes, and it's a really good scare, but that's it. So, I mean, the scares are really nothing to be excited about. The second one, the sequel, is far scarier than this one, hands down. the fake outs are what really did it for me. It's like they were trying to copy the feel of The Conjuring, but it was very watered down. Enough so to where I would watch The Nun over this again, easily. I really did not enjoy this movie as much as I wanted to. I still don't like the original more, but... So, as far as scares, so I guess we'll just get to our overview. Just generalize what you think about the movie, the story. Do they need to stop already? Or, do you think they just need to put more time into these films instead of just trying to squeeze out sequels like this?
Well, I mean, if you see the reviews on the movies, they could, I mean, starting with The Conjuring, going all the way to the newer ones, the reviews drop dramatically. Movies get worse and worse and worse as far as ratings.
Yeah.
And even these last two movies, I mean, with The Nun and The Comic Relief, I know they're trying to lighten up the mood instead of being all dreary the whole movie. But
it's not working.
It takes you out of the movie, man.
And then
like a laugh here and there is cool, but like every scene with your side character who's supposed to be the comic relief, every scene,
a character that you're not even going to do anything with.
And the building him up to be like, I don't care if he dies.
And let me also say, the build of this movie is really weird. You expect it to be fast-paced because that's almost what they lean towards, but then they pull back. And then you're just kind of stuck doing kind of the same things over and over in this movie. They're like, oh, it's creepy stuff. But they're not really, like, paying attention. They're not talking. It's just like, oh, there's this creepy dude standing in the background. In like 8 different scenes. Do you know how many times they did that in this movie? Too many.
And then they didn't explain who he was.
Didn't explain it. Nothing. Just creepy dude in the background.
It had nothing to do with the story, and they didn't even explain who he was. He was just there.
Yeah. CGI was pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie. The CGI was rough.
Yeah.
The Toll Man CGI wasn't very good.
Toll Man was bad. The werewolf was 99% CG.
That one was really bad. It just didn't make any sense. I don't know. They said it was a hellhound, but it looks just like a werewolf. And it's just odd to have a ghost movie and then boom, here's a werewolf. I don't know. Overall, this movie's very bottom of the list for me as far as the Conjuring Universe goes. You should definitely watch it. Every movie is definitely worth one watch. In my opinion, and his opinion, is probably not going to be the same as yours, because that's the fun part about horror movies. Everyone is allowed to have their own opinion. However, I would like to see more. If they're going to do these spin-off movies, which is totally fine, you need to put more effort into it. Like, The Conjuring is a classic, one of my favorite films ever. But how can you even put these two films in the same franchise? They're utterly opposite. One tries to copy the other, but it doesn't work for me. That is all we really have to say about Annabelle Comes Home. Annabelle needs to go home, because ain't nobody got time for that mess. Please drop in the comments some movies you would like us to talk about. We would love to see your suggestions, and we're always down to watch new movies, so please let us know. We will definitely watch them if we haven't, and try to review them if we can find them. Yeah, thank you for watching The Shining. Keep it creepy, and I'll see you next time.